Welcome to Where's My Sports At podcast. This week we are going to be talking about, first and foremost, the All Blacks versus Fiji game that was played at the was played at the Snapdragon Stadium in San Francisco in front of 33,000 fans on we'll say a golf green, and played on a good field. But I'm going to set the scene here for you lads with going through firstly and reading some feedback, and then we'll kick into the rugby analysis. So, as usual, we love to read out our feedback on the Where's My Sports At podcast, and we've got quite an array of fans going from very, very angry to very, very positive. So on the spectrum there, you might fit in the middle of it. But this week, what I'll do is I'll start off. We actually had a lot of positive comments this week. Fantastic. So we have listened to you, we have heard you, and we will go through and follow up. So the first one I'll start with, there's a real long one here, but I want to give it comment of the week because I thought it was pretty good right off the bat, because it was pretty hard to get past this one. From Island Jazz 2240 6 days ago, he said, I think Razor should invite the Auckland Blues forward coach to join his team. The best way of playing undefendable rugby in the modern era was displayed by the Auckland Blues when they pulverised the Chiefs to win the final. Or pulverised, but good term, good word. Again, that game established the fact that when your forwards play all their parts the right way, the Blues forwards did, the backs will rise to the occasion, no doubt. Yep, Erasmus is using that method to utilise his fat forwards to good use. Oh.
I think I prefer the term big boned.
Yeah, big raw boned, Big
I wouldn't call RG Snedman fat, so that's for sure.
No, I wouldn't.
Certainly not to his face.
No.
So I thought that was pretty good. I won't read the rest because it is a good one. But Island Jazz, cheers, mate. That was a really good comment. Hey, I think maybe the All Blacks do need to invite some innovation in, and maybe it is a case of getting Tom Coventry, who's the Blues forwards coach, in. The next one we had, Justice 1902 said, love the analysis and a great listen. Cheers, mate. That's cool. Good pick up on the crucial Ardy line-out steal. Swings the game back to us. He's the best player in the world for a reason. AB's proud. Matt, I think that was you that called the Ardy line-out steal. So good shout. Well done. Then we've got Shane Pleasance. I was a little concerned about Talia's actual speed. He seems to make space, but tended not to back himself in an actual race. Is he not that quick? He is fast. He's just covered in a lot of oil.
Yeah, that is true. He is a slippery character.
Yeah. If you look at how shiny he is, yes, he is. That guy's got a lot of oil. Now I'm going to go down to the negative ones because there was heaps of positive ones actually this week. I think it was about 90% positive. So thank you all so much. That's really cool. It makes us want to keep doing what we're doing. So I'll just go down all the way down here. And as well, Les Vav, stoked to get comment of the week last week. Les, you're top of the leaderboard as well, so that's very cool. Sorry, I'll go back to another more positive ones. Anything is better than listening to John Kerwin. I like that.
I have to agree with that comment.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. Now one person said, I've got a feeling the bald guy with glasses didn't watch the All Blacks versus England game. And I'm like, I don't know any of us that are bald of glasses. Oh.
Yeah, who fits that description?
Yeah, I always thought you were quite a hairy man. Now,
what I really liked about that comment is that he's attacking my own opinion about the player of the game.
Yes, and they're using a descriptor. It's all good. But this is the funniest comment of the week with this one, Andres. As well, before that, Andres, you were watching the game. I know you were. So
I have the scars to prove it.
Yeah. And the next one here, this was the the most downtrodden comment of the week, but I found it the funniest. Now I'll read it in my voice again, but I'll do the Pommy voice. So, fact is, Pommies were robbed last attack. Kiwis brought down the maul. Should have been a penalty try. Also, the Pommies camped out on a Kiwis half. How pathetic. Most of the time, ye four, by the way, a crap four biggest clown face I've ever seen. So that comes from Michael Moynihan 9591. Michael, just a couple of things, mate. Go back to school, learn to articulate how you're feeling, with proper English and proper grammar. Ye old has not been used since about maybe 4th or 5th century, maybe King Arthur times. Yeah, like if you're a medieval knight, that probably explains the grammar, because you weren't taught to read back then. So, Michael, well done on getting, and I'll put, so for worst comment of the week, I'll put -5. So you got a -5. So at the end of the season, if you've got all the most negative comments, then you will also win a booby prize, maybe a whoopee cushion, but I'll probably give you a flat rugby ball because it's funny. So thank you very much, everyone, for the comments, positive or negative. We want your comments and we'd love your feedback. Send us an email. So into the game itself, Snapdragon Stadium. Lads, to start with, the national anthem.
Yeah, we've got experience on this one, I promise you.
Yeah.
It was like watching a cat get dragged across a chalkboard trying to fear for its life.
Yeah.
And she just kept going and wouldn't stop. And man, she's getting slagged off in the media in New Zealand, all over it. So hey, just get singing lessons, love. I can't sing, but good on you for putting yourself out there. Lads, into the actual game.
Can we stay on that point though, because it's quite humorous. Like, did she have an explanation for her performance?
I think she won a karaoke competition. No, I don't know.
Okay, no. The reason I'm saying is that because an American lady sang the national anthem for a baseball game this week as well, and she sang it terribly, and she was good on her. What a girl! She said, "No, I'm sorry, I was drunk. I checked it." Yeah.
That's what she should maybe come back with. Yeah.
So, basically, she just peaked too soon.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. They brought her in too early.
And then going on that, like we once had and we played France. I can't remember which city it was in back. I can't remember what year as well. But we had they got a Rastafarian singer to sing the national anthem. Rust Dumasani or something like that.
That's it. Yes.
It was the worst anthem I have ever heard in my life.
They should get the two to do a duet.
Oh no, please.
Yeah. Maybe have a movie duets, the worst national anthem you could possibly think of, and then go around, do the whole hype on it. Yeah, like that would have fizzed up the players. But then the golf green lads, like that was dangerous, right? That was really, really dangerous playing rugby on that ground. Whoever made the decision to play on that field needs to definitely have themselves read. Some of the injuries happening were quite serious.
Yeah.
Cortez Ratama, he looked like he almost could have broken his neck. That was how it looked when he fell on the ground and how he hit, but he's lucky to get away with just a concussion. Fiji's halfback as well looked to have broken his wrist.
Yeah.
A few other knocks. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look. I was wondering why there were so many players clutching an arm or a leg at one point. But yes, you're right. It probably is the playing surface rather than player-on-player contact. These games are supposed to bring in, I suppose, some money, but also, more importantly, expose more people to the game. And it doesn't help when that happens. It's not going to attract more people to the game if they don't feel it's safe.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. Like I was watching his legs to go, man, I hope he's moving his legs, because it did look like he was okay in the end. But Yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah, I would have loved to have known like sort of the soft tissue injuries from that game, or the just like for example like shin splints and stuff, because
Yeah.
the surface is so, just how they were feeling the next day. It'd be really be interesting compared to a normal rugby fields, like for example Eden Park, or um and just give a sort of a comparison, a medical comparison on the injuries. Doesn't have to be major injuries, but minor injuries, sort of just that you'd normally get after a rugby game. But I was really impressed by the crowd. Like
Yeah.
that was really
Yes.
good. Like that was and I don't know, maybe you guys know more, but like was that mainly like Kiwi expats, or was that actual American?
There was a few South Africans in the crowd. I saw that
Yeah.
and had a bit of a laugh. I was like, random South African fans. There's like a whole group of like 15 of them in the crowd. That was awesome.
Yeah.
It did appear to have a bit of a sevens vibe to it. And
Yeah.
when you looked across the crowd, it looked like there were a lot of expat Kiwis in the crowd, and here and there you could see somebody that obviously stood out as being an American, just having a fun day out, which is awesome.
Did you guys see like we'd call it a corporate box, but on the one side of the stadium they had like this platform coming out, almost like behind the posts, and like the corporate box comes out like almost like above the stand. Um, it was amazing. Like it was like this bar, like corporate box, like literally, how can I explain? Like on a platform, like behind the posts. It was really
I
interesting.
missed that.
Yeah. But yeah, another thing is the name of the stadium, Snapdragon. Is that an energy drink? What is that?
I think it comes back to that sponsorship deal that the New Zealand Rugby's done with Silver Lake Investments. So I think
Okay,
it's
yeah,
like it'll be one of their products and linked through there. I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah.
okay,
Quote me on it because I'm saying it. So
yeah.
yeah, I assume that's it. I might do a bit more research on
You might get
Snapdragon.
called out in the comments for that. You need to do your research.
Did I pronounce it right?
Hmm.
Is it Snapdragon? You know,
Well, I don't know. Maybe if you're drunk in American, I don't know. Snapdragon.
so with the game there were so many shining lights, lads. Like first thing there that I'll go around the room with is standout players, because there was a lot. So Matt, we'll start with you, mate, and we'll throw it on Dress. We'll go through the
Yeah,
back line. So
yeah. No, the DMAC Bowden Barrett axis, attacking axis, was working like a charm. Like the way they were interplaying and interchanging and coming into the line together, working together, was brilliant. And it's going to be very interesting when Will Jordan comes back, because how's he going to fit into that matrix now? Because I know he said on record he wants to play fullback, but how are you going to change it? Because DMAC and Bowden are working very well in that axis. So we um, bring in Will Jordan, and then Nessie can fulfill the same role, but it just worked so well. But yeah, really, I thought that was really good. Then Billy Proctor,
yeah,
geez, he stood out. Physical, strong, really like his work rate around the park. Really good, and putting good pressure on the centers there. Caleb Clark, thought once again was very industrious. Strong, physical. Whenever he got the ball, he made the gain line and made meters. Just once again was a hard guy to bring down. So he's always tough to play against. I think from the three matches we've seen now, we can see a good sort of squad depth level developing for the All Blacks. It's going to take time, but that's very important when you go into a World Cup. So that's something that we can slowly watch and see. But on that note, I think it's going to take time for Razor to develop his first choice squad. He's still having a good look, but it really bodes well for the future, I'd say, for the All Blacks in terms of player depth.
yeah. Andres.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Billy Proctor was absolutely amazing, and so he certainly looks like he's got a long All Blacks career, promising All Blacks career ahead of him. And I think just everybody's been talking about the Springboks depth, but I think that's what came out for me in this, is that maybe that's also not quite understood is that the All Blacks also have significant depth. And I mean, a player like Caleb Clark in this game, I can't think of many teams where he wouldn't be in the first 15. So, and he's an absolute monster of a human being. He is very fast, and he is, he's just a massive bloke. So, and he had 21 carries in the game. He looked really impressive. So I'm hoping we'll see more of him in the coming season. And Surveyor, Ardie Surveyor was quite quiet, I thought, against England. And I think that may have been because the likes of Underhill, kept him quiet in that game. But yeah, he stood out. He looked like the Ardie Surveyor of old in this game. So it was quite industrious. And then, yes, I don't know if you want us to go on to the Fiji. Fiji side. I mean, looking at the defensive side, it's always interesting to see, tackles made, and often it's a back rower that makes the most tackles. But from Fiji, it was the Vita Ikanobere, the hooker, actually up with 15 tackles. So that is an amazing defensive effort from somebody that would be expending a lot of energy in the other tight aspects of the game. So well done to him. And then Semi Radradra with 17 carries. He was on fire as well. So I think that they were standout players for me. And Billy Proctor, as mentioned earlier, I mean, 4 line breaks and a try. And he looks class.
Yeah, and he definitely was. Did you have any standouts from the Fijians, Matt?
I've got a general overview with Fiji, because my whole feeling of that game, I was really disappointed with them. I think they've sort of gone a bit backwards. If we go from like pre-World Cup last year type thing to what they were producing, and then where they're sort of at now, like they've just literally gone for all out attack, and they've literally their set phases and structures fallen away. I mean, if you look at a stat, they only won 64% of their lineouts. And if you don't win your lineouts, then you're not gonna compete. But what was interesting is they won 8 turnovers to 7 to New Zealand. So that was quite an interesting one. But I know Mick Byrne has just moved into the role. So, and he's done really well with Fijian Drua. So I think we just need to give them time. But if Fiji can just get their set pieces right, they've got the attacking flair, and that's all they need to do, really. So yeah, in general, like I was a bit disappointed with them. I think I was expecting a bit more. If I look at, like, which we'll touch on later, like Portugal, what they brought to that game, like they brought something, whereas I didn't feel like Fiji brought a lot. Maybe the first try was amazing, but other than that, it wasn't a good performance.
I think what I noticed at one stage from the All Blacks is that they actually surprised me in not moving the ball wide immediately. So that it looked like the All Blacks were particularly focused on earning that right to go wide first and sucking in that, maybe adding 2 or 3 phases before moving the ball to the edges. And I think that maybe you're right there. Maybe Fiji was just too intent on getting the ball to move too quickly, and that cost them. And if you look at the stats in terms of the line breaks, the All Blacks got about twice the number of line breaks, I should say, in comparison to Fiji. And it may just be because it was too early to go. They hadn't sucked in the defenders around the ruck yet.
Yeah.
But sorry. At one stage, I watched the Fijian attack, And it was just so easy to defend. Like they're just throwing the ball like it's sevens, and all you have to do is just shift and follow, and they're going to go nowhere. You know what I mean? Besides some
Yeah.
individual brilliance, it's so easy to defend.
Yeah, so like I've always been, because I'll start with the Fijians and go to the All Blacks, but
Yeah.
because we're on the Fiji thing, but I've always felt the Fijians, that they've got something special about them in those teams, and you know they've got size, they've got speed, they've got flair. You know, you can't coach that,
Yeah.
and that's something there that they've got, and I'd like to see like a more natural Fijian style come into it, where you are right, they were trying to play a bit too much sevens of backpedaling, and then they were waiting to someone to pull off the one step, where actually if they got a guy just running a straight hard crash ball, setting a platform, getting your forwards there, but then it's a matter of all those forwards, are they fit enough? Because they look fit for Super Rugby level, but they don't look fit enough for international level, and I think that's where the Fijians are lacking quite a lot. But in terms of all the skill and the flair and the ability to beat the defenders one on one, they've got it in spades. It's just how do you utilize that best to get the best out of these athletes? And I think, you know, that they just need some great coaching, and they need a great, you know, fitness regime. If they went cold turkey and go, right, we're taking this squad to the World Cup and we're just going to focus on fitness for 3 years, hey, imagine what could happen. Get Wayne Smith involved, you know.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is I think them utilizing their height is one of the things there I think the Fijians need to start taking advantage of. Like playing the kicking game to Semi-Red Raja, they could have done that so many times and just, you know, got into the All Blacks half, put up a high bomb, and then let Semi-Red Raja run and just try and catch it and take it off them. Might have worked a couple of times, but they could have exploited some things there.
Yeah.
And you know, like they've got the players, they do. It's just utilizing it and playing together enough. I think it's almost like with you guys all know this with the Australian football team and the South African football team. Same with the All Whites. We don't play enough international games together, so we can never succeed well on the international stage, and that's the case with Fiji. I felt, but I felt they did okay in patches, but not playing as a team enough.
Yeah,
That was my
they like if we look at across the board, like the way Georgia competed with Australia, really pushed them, and for me they're a tier one nation now. The way Portugal, their expansive attack that they played against South Africa was absolutely brilliant. And I don't know if you saw that Spain beat Tonga.
wow.
And
I
then
did not
we've
see
got
that.
Japan. Yeah. Spain beat Tonga, and then we got Japan and Fiji in our neck of the woods. And I firmly believe that the time is now to put those teams into the championship. And I you know, call it the Six Nations Southern Hemisphere, but there needs to be promotion and relegation to develop nations underneath that. And what you've seen in Europe now with the likes of Georgia, Spain, Portugal, is they're really pushing now to probably Italy standard and above. They really need to look at promotion relegation. Like it's not time. Like we can't let just these guys hang on the fringes. And that's what Japan and Fiji need to be included
Yeah.
to develop their game. Like I'm sick and tired of actually just watching South Africa, New Zealand, Argentina, and Australia.
Yeah.
Like
I want to see
we need
10
to
teams.
reinvigorate
Yeah.
this.
I want to see 10 teams compete for the world title. I want to see 10
Yeah.
teams. We don't know who's going to win, like in the Football World Cup. And I think we're not far. We just need a little bit more push and a little bit more investment from the IRB. But I'll go over to my All Blacks analysis. So one of the things there that you guys usually mention is the post-contact meters. So
Yes.
starting with that, it was 443 post-contact meters to the Fijians 208. And I think one of the things that comes down to position, but like agree with both your points there. Mackenzie was just unreal, and I'm excited to see him. Like the more he spends in the saddle at first five, the better he's going to get. That combination with Ratama was really, really good, and unfortunately, when Ratama got injured, hitting his head on the side there, that was really worrying, and hopefully he's all right. So Cortez, if you watch, mate, all the best to you. But also, one of the big things there that I found was D-Mac's combination with Anton Leonard-Brown, and then Billy Proctor. Wow, he's the closest thing. He's like a Conrad Smith clone almost, but with an upgrade in speed. He
And
had
size.
everything else. Yeah, it's size, yeah. But he had the defense, he had the offloads, and he's just so silky running those holes. And we've been waiting a long time to have another good centre like Conrad, and I think Billy Proctor might be the guy. And no offense to Rieko Ioane, like I think he's a good player, but I think Billy Proctor's just got that extra thing or that extra something special, which you can't teach. Rico's great, but yeah, Billy is. I think he's the guy moving forward. Second five will work itself out. Geordie Barrett and A or B, I could flip a coin and take either one. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I also just wonder about Leonard Brown's influence in making Billy Proctor look that good, because I think he is perhaps one of the most underrated players, where he just quietly gets on with the business. And so, yeah, I think he may also, have had a hand in running the right lines and giving great advice and communication to the guy on his outside.
Yeah, and he's coming back off a really serious Achilles injury from last year, and I think that did hamper him in the World Cup and probably meant he didn't quite get to the heights that he was before. And he's had a decent year now, and all of a sudden he's just clicking. But the forwards, I just wanted to touch on briefly. I thought Fletcher Newell was incredible. Like, I didn't think I'd like this guy as a prop that much, but man, he is just growing and growing on me. Like, he dominated that Fijian scrum on multiple occasions, like just absolutely tore the prop
He's
apart.
making a point, isn't he? He's making a real good point to that starting side. Like the past 2 games, he's been brilliant.
Yeah. And just a good straight back. Like, you could put a bowl of wine and a glass there and set a table to it. That's how good it was when he's just driving through the line. The other player I had that I like came off the bench actually was Sam Darry. I was watching him real closely because I've made a couple comments on the All Black lock depth, and I thought, our main man Scotty Barrett, the captain, had a good game, and I also thought Tupou had a good game. But then when Sam Darry came on, he was really good around the park, and it was like having sort of reminded me of a young Norm Maxwell, just like going in and attacking the ball, got a couple turnovers straight away. Good round the field, didn't look too tired. Played a good game, and also Jacobson and Blackadder, I thought, had solid games. I thought Jacobson was probably the more solider of the two, but basically it was like having two clones playing with Blackadder and Jacobson.
It's a very handy loose trio there, Jacobson, Blackadder, and Surveyor.
Yeah, yeah. It was like having two players exactly the same, right? They're just absolutely smashing guys, and you could tell they were getting hurt. It's pretty good. I love watching that side of Blackadder and Jacobson. So great,
What
great
what
from
what
both.
would your preferred loose trio be going into the championship?
Oh, I I know they're going to go with Dalton Papali'i. I'm pull no punches there. I just don't. I don't rate him as a starting open side. Sorry, Dalton. I'd probably go with those three actually, just in terms of being able to wear teams down. I think that's and then you bring Dalton on to bring on a bit of speed and turnovers towards the end. I think that would be my preferred option. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we look at the experiment with Kwaka at 8 with the Springboks, like I firmly believe he's a bench player, he's an impact player. Rassie talks about 23 players. It's not 15, it's 23. And the role for Kwaka is that he's so versatile. If they name a 7-1 split, Kwaka can swat into the centers if need be,
Yeah.
for the sevens background. So that hybrid player on the All Blacks bench, like I think they need to sort of looking at someone like that. And like Papiili for me is like a classic open side, big, strong, and carries the ball well. But yeah, like Luke Jacobson and Blackadder, they'll weigh you down like physically. And that's what you need when you play teams like South Africa, England, Ireland. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Razor goes with.
Yeah, and the other two debutants that I wanted to touch on, lads, Satiti, the young number 8 that came on.
He had a great game.
Not bad. Not bad. You know, when you see a young fella like that, it's like, he's tough, eh? He's real tough.
He reminds me of what's the guy from Moana? Like the big guy from Moana, the cartoon comedy.
Oh,
Very specific on man,
Maui.
like yeah, Maui, sorry. He's massive. He's huge. Like his arms, his legs, everything. Like I wouldn't want to tackle that guy.
I think he's only like really young too. I think he's like 19, 20, 21 off the top of my head.
Jeez.
Like he's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
Hits hard, runs hard, everything. I
And
thought
he was playing in like club rugby level, wasn't he? And then he like made his way up.
Yeah, came in as an injury replacement, and then came in off the bench, and then next minute he was starting and played the last 6 games for the Chiefs, starting. So turned the season around. The other debutant I had there was Hotham. I think it's Hotham. What were your guys' thoughts on him? That at the moment he's our anointed number 3 halfback, really. Did you guys have much thoughts on him? Played a big thing?
Yeah, I quite liked him actually. I thought he was pretty decent, but I wanted to also touch on that. Yeah, he's a good scrummy, but once again, he's green. He's like 21 years old, and only 3 years ago he's at Hamilton Boys High, and he's been thrown into the deep end now. But like when he came on, and it was a good introduction because all due respect to Fiji, it wasn't like a game against like the South Africa or Ireland, but it was a good way to introduce him. But I thought he looked really polished and good. But it's going to be interesting now because the scrum half depth has sort of been hit quite hard going into the championship. But TJ Paranara should be back for the championship if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah. I think he's certainly a good prospect, and I think he may even bip your mate Christie.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, see my shoulders just relax, mate. I had one other player there that stood out to me as well was Tamaiti Williams. Holy God, we've got some good young talent in the props.
I think all the front rowers that came on and that started the game, they actually really impressed. They had a field day. Even the Gruit that came in strangely from the bench. He looked a lot more impactful during this game than against England.
Yeah, and maybe it's a matter of wearing them down. But De Groot seems to be the type of player where he plays a few games back to back, and then all of a sudden, you could tell he's getting a little bit more worn down, and then he has a week off or a week off the bench. Then he comes back and he's one of the best players on the field. And I think he'll make a big difference in the rugby championship. I'm real excited. I cannot wait for a couple of weeks time when we play each other, lads. It's going to be big.
Yeah, that's going to be really good.
So the other thing there, guys, the coaching tactics. Did you have any thoughts on that in the game? It seemed to be pretty much open play, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a hard one to actually see, like, sort of what structure Razor is trying to implement.
Yeah.
It was so free flowing, and as you said, the post contact meters were really high. So you can't. It's hard. It's hard to see. And as you said, well, Andrew said you keep it close. They kept it close for the first 3 phases, and then sort of went out. So yeah, I didn't see a real pattern developing from that game, but I think in the championship we can start to see more of what Razor's thinking. I think at the moment he's just trying to find out what his best team is going into the championship.
Yeah. I mean, it's not surprising. Like I said last week, I think it's more of the same. The All Blacks trying to play high tempo rugby, and they had almost a third more passes than Fiji had during the game, which obviously is also dependent on the possession you have. But Yeah, it looked like they were moving the ball through the hands pretty quickly once they cleaned out around the ruck.
Yeah, now that was one thing I did pick up in my notes that I took. I thought fast hands at the collision, and I was like, oh, is that a? And that was from the forwards and from the backs. I thought that was something they worked in well. And you're right, post contact meters being that far ahead, it was quite hard to read, but they got the set piece right. They won all the lineouts, they won all the scrums. Their confidence at the ruck and more was fine. I think they ticked all the boxes in what they needed to do. And I think the extras where the points came through and they just wore the Fijians down at tour. But I thought the score was going to be higher than that. I thought it was going to be heading towards 70 points, but I think when Cortez came off, that made a big difference. And I think that's where the game sort of started to draw off a little bit more. So, but all in all, good performance for what they were allowed to play. So, all right, lads, that's us for this week. So thanks to all our listeners for listening, and please make sure there to put some comments in, make us have a laugh. But Andreas, Matt, again, lads, cheers. Really enjoying this. We're having a great time. So love talking footy with you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. It's been good.